and good morning. Welcome to the Going Executive Director Show. My name is Brandy and this is Jeff. And our purpose is to give you the skills, techniques, inspiration, motivation, and daily activities needed for you to build a solid, profitable business. And remember, this is our team's philosophy. We will be talking about specifics, company specifics here. So if you are waiting for the Lunchtime Leadership Show, that starts at noon, and that is our generic show, but this is specifically for the team. So we have been going over the 21 indispensable qualities of a leader by John Maxwell, and today we are on quality number 10, which is initiative. You won't leave home without it. So success seems to be connected with action. Successful people keep moving. They make mistakes, but they don't quit. And that's by Conrad Hilton. Sorry, I got my notes here so I can keep track of where I'm at, because this is early for us. We normally don't get up in the morning, so this is what I need so I can stay on track. So the 21 indisputable laws of leadership point out that leaders are responsible for initiating connection with their followers, but there's not the only area where leaders must show initiative. They must always look for opportunities to be ready to take action. So what qualities do leaders possess that enable them to make things happen? I'm going to have Jeff take over the leadership lesson today. He is a John Maxwell coach, and I will have you take this over.
Hola, Laura. Hello, Jerry. What's happening? Coffee and more coffee. Yeah, absolutely. That's what it takes. Eric's watching. Hello. So here we go. The Going Executive Director Show is actually put together. I wanted a way to get some information out to people who are building their Legal Shield business, so that way they kind of knew which direction to go, what to do, and really how these lessons tie in. Olga, what's happening, sir? So the idea is behind initiative is at what point are you going to take off and do something yourself, and at what point do you need help? Everybody needs help, don't get me wrong. You're going to need to come in and you're going to need to get some learned knowledge, and you're going to get learned knowledge from trainings, from shows, from sitting down with mentors who have built businesses before. I mean, that's just the way that it's going to work, the way that's going to happen. But Teddy, hello. You're going to need some help. You're going to need learned knowledge. But from learned knowledge, where do you go from learned knowledge over to activity? A lot of people are stuck in learned knowledge. A lot of people end up, professional college students, professional, what I would say is meeting goers, professional training. They'll buy the newest book, they'll buy the newest training, they'll buy the newest CD, they'll buy the newest this, and it's always the next one, but they don't ever really get into the activity mode, the initiative to actually go out and physically talk to somebody. And they're trying to get everything right and everything perfect, and they're like, well, I just don't know it well enough, I just don't this well enough, that well enough, and it really is fear. That if you really want to look at direct sales and network marketing and a team approach, you can actually almost judge the activity level and what's going on in your business by the self-esteem level of the team. Where is somebody out on a scale of 1 to 10? Typically what I find is until you hit 7, 8, 9, 10, you normally don't have any activity. The reason being is your self-esteem isn't high enough to initiate going out and kind of doing this. And some people just need to grow. Some people need to build. We said in certain cases, some people need to just be hatched. They're kind of like, back in the nest, and they've got to go back into the nest, and you basically have to encourage. And it's really building up people's self-esteem. I have a really good friend in the industry that's made $1 million in 5 different companies. $1 million in 5 different companies in 13 years. So if you kind of track that down, it was about every 2.5 years, this gentleman actually had to transfer for a bunch of reasons. I mean, the main reason why he transferred out is he built companies very quickly, and unfortunately, the companies that he chose in the very beginning, in the very, very beginning, didn't last. I mean, for whatever reason, they were unstructured wrong, some of the wrong people, and from there, he, got to the top of some companies, met some of the people, and didn't like them. So that's your prerogative. You know, everybody's like, oh my gosh, that's the worst thing in the world. I'm like, no, it just happens. Some people will just make a decision to go elsewhere. Just like in the NFL, people get transferred from one team to another. In the NBA, people get transferred from one team to the other. People's contracts up and they're like, look, guys, I would like to run in a different team, you know, different jersey. It's just the way it is. It's the same industry. You know, we don't fault a programmer going from Microsoft to Apple. We don't fault an airline, you know, mechanic going from one airline over to another airline. Network marketers transfer to, it just happens. It's stuff that goes on in the industry. So, but what we're talking about today is initiative. James is with us. What's happening, sir? Fleshing it out, it says, you know, they know what they want. So if you know, initiative, if you know exactly what you want to accomplish, your initiative is you get started working on it immediately. You know, I want to bring in 2, 3, 4, 5 people. Okay, so I have to sit down, and this is what I did in the beginning. I'm just going to let you guys know this is what I did. I actually had to write out the process of where I was going when I first got in to do this, and it just helped me because, you know, part of my background, I guess, is that thinker side of the business. I have a little bit of that C-type, but I'm very task-oriented. So the D-type, the C-type personality came out, and I said, okay, I need to write like a flow chart of where I'm going with this. You know, from the initial contact to what I'm going to actually say in the presentation to how I'm going to close to what I want to happen after that. Where I think a lot of people get screwed up is they don't know exactly what they're going to say in the beginning, and they don't know what they're trying to convey in the middle. Therefore, the ending of what they're doing really doesn't even, I mean, it really doesn't even matter, you know, so much because they don't know where they're going with it at the end. So when I looked at, and this is Network Marketing 101, you know, period, I had to look at from the time I initiated the conversation, what was I trying to get across? And here's the 3 things that I'm always trying to get across. And I don't care what presentation it is. I don't care what company you're in, really. This is the same thing that I do train for generic that I would train for my own team, is there's 3 things I'm trying to convey every time. Number 1 is that you know what I'm doing, so that way you have the ability to refer. That's my number 1 goal, is you know what I'm doing so you have the ability to refer. Refer what? Refer over somebody who needs the product or refer over somebody who's looking for the opportunity. If I can't convey those things, I screwed up. If I haven't conveyed those things right away, I've screwed up. The next thing that I would be looking for is somebody who actually would want to buy the product, whatever product it is. You know, this part of the training is generic. So no matter what tool I'm using, no matter what conversation I'm having, number 1, they have to be able to refer at the end of whatever I did. Number 2, they have to be able to know how to buy the product or products that I have, which means you're going to have to at least touch on what you actually are doing. The third thing that I'm trying to convey is not only can they refer, not only could they buy the product, but they could actually join the opportunity, which means they have to know what the opportunity is. They have to know how much the opportunity is, you know, to be able to get started and join. So from start to finish, I kind of know that when I initiate that conversation, and this is what I'm talking about, when I initiate a conversation with somebody, that I'm going to explain them what I do and how I do it, I know that I'm going to convey these 3 things. I start with the favor script, and I end with the favor. So those 2 things are congruent from start to finish. What I find a lot of people do is they, because the self-esteem and they're kind of nervous at what they're saying, is they'll start with, hey, I really want you to hear about what I'm doing, and they go from I want you to hear about what I'm doing to this weird, you know, hard close kind of pressured scenario. Oh, I just need one person, and if you could be that one person, and I thought you knew all these people, and you know, you were so good in basketball in high school, and you know, I've looked on your Facebook page and you know 2,000 people, and you know, I know you're in the profession of, you know, sales, and you could sell a bunch of people, and they start telling these people every reason why they'd be amazing, why they'd be good, and why they should do this with them, but they weren't congruent with what they said in the beginning. So if I say do me a favor at the beginning, and I share with you the company, and I share with you the need in the marketplace, and I share with you the products, and I share with you the compensation, and I share with you the timing and the talent, the people that I'm working with, those are the 5 things that I share. Then I go back to the favor, and I say, hey, thank you so much for doing me the favor to learn about my company, to learn about the products that I deliver, to learn about, you know, the compensation, and to learn about this amazing team that I work with. I really appreciate that. And if you know anybody who needs the product, please refer them to me. Now, the reason I like a one-on-one conversation so much better than any of the other tools that exist in the marketplace, other than a physical live presentation where you get to meet a bunch of people, other than that, the reason I like it so much is because two things. First of all, it trains your team to be independent. It trains your team to be independent. I don't want a dependent team on me. If you have a dependent team on you, that means you're working 24,700. You know, you're always. And here's the thing. Yes, it's going to be like that in the beginning, but in the long run, what are you building? Are you building something that's completely dependent upon you always being there, answering every question, talking to every person, or are you building something independent? I love that I was able to, in the first 30 days, to be able to teach some people who had the initiative to get started, get rolling, and figure this out. I was able to teach them, hey, here's exactly what I'm saying. Here's exactly the process from start to finish. You know, here's the favor script. Here's the company. Here's the need in the marketplace. Here's the products. Here's the compensation. Here's the timing and the talent. Here's how I close every time. Thank you so much for, you know, the congruency of, thank you so much for listening to what we do. Thanks so much for doing me this favor and learning about what we do. So if you run into anybody, here's the products. Here's, you know, how you can refer me. Here's the opportunity. Here's how you can refer me. And I have to ask, because if I do this in a one-on-one scenario, if I do this over the phone, I get to hear people's reaction. I get to hear, oh, wow, that's cool. Yeah, I know somebody who would need this. Yeah, I know somebody who could use that product. I know somebody who would benefit from this. I'm then able to say, now, I have to at least ask, do you want more information on this? People think I have some amazing close. Do you want some more information on this? I'm not trying to close, and I tell people, I said, look, I'm not trying to close anybody, but do you want more information on this? Do you know what 9 out of 10 people have told me? Yes, I want more information on this. Okay, cool. I said, well, there's 2 things I'd like to do. Number 1 is I'm going to send you over a video, and people are like, Jeff, I thought you don't like videos. No, I don't like videos on the front end. I don't like videos before people know what we're doing. Because if you try to send them a video before they know what they're doing, what you're counting on, if you look at psychology, what you're counting on is that you have the influence to make them watch the video. And 9 times out of 10, you do not have the influence to make people watch the video. Well, if you're really, really excited, think about transferring that down, how fucking crazy it looks. I mean, if you're just excited enough, though, I said, I don't want people looking at the team that I've built and think, you know, they really need to be medicated. We need to put these people on something, because they're just not okay people. You know, that's not the goal. You know, the goal isn't to scare people into your business or freak them out into your business. The goal is to share with them the information so that way they can make their own decision. You know, so I don't use how excited you can get it. You know, that's not the point. The point is to be able to share the information so the people who need it, the people who like it, the people who'd want to be involved can make their own decision to you know, be involved. So I asked him, you know, do you want more information? Yeah. This is deep, guys. I take a video and I send them a video through text message. I don't take down a bunch of people's emails, and I don't take a bunch of time to do it. Josh Box watching, what's up, sir? Which I actually, funny enough, helped develop all this with Josh. This is kind of what we did, and he's probably like even better at it than me, for those of you who don't know. But to initiate the conversation, hey man, just do me a favor. I love Josh used to use a phrase, and correct me if I'm wrong, Josh, here. He used to use a phrase, hey man, we're working on this project. He said, hey, we're working on this project. I just need a huge favor. I just want to share with you what we're doing. So, you know, if you do run into somebody, you can refer them out. And the guy, because of his personality, everybody has a different personality, he was able to get a bunch of people in front of the program. I mean, that's basically how it worked. So we get a bunch of people in front of the program. We thank them at the end. And again, Josh was really good at this. Hey, thanks so much for coming out. Thanks so much for learning about what we did. Thanks so much for listening. And, you know, do you guys need any more information? Josh and I were never super hard closers. Never. We didn't need to be, because the process we built was likable. People liked to get started. I mean, I can't even count the number of times Josh and I would be like, hey guys, and if you ever run into anybody, if you ever need this, here's basically how we sign up. And people are like, oh yeah, I want an application. Oh yeah, I'm ready to go. I mean, I'm ready. Let's do this. I mean, it was that fast. People like the process. And when you do it in a group of two, face to face, I mean, it works even better, because when two people come together, it's like it creates that third mind and that third personality that attracts other people. People are like, well, if two people are doing it, everybody can't be crazy here. If one person's doing it, we might be a 50-50 shot. Somebody might be crazy. People knew Josh and I were crazy, so people were like, yeah, this just makes sense to us. So I get them more information. From getting them more information, how do you follow up? Oh my gosh, how do you follow up? Well, there's two things I wanted to do. Number one, I wanted to get them information. The number two thing I wanted to do is I wanted to bring them or invite them to the next event. That's where I'm using third party. My third party isn't there to close. My third party is to get them to the next event. That's it. Because how are you going to teach a new team to close? It's hard to teach a new group of people to close, especially if you're recruiting people really, really, really fast. It's hard to teach new people to close, but I can teach anybody to invite. So I use third party to invite. I say, hey, James, if I'm working with James, a lot of times, James Kelly, I say, hey, James, I want to introduce you to, and I'm just going to use Josh, for example, because Josh is not involved in what I'm doing right now. So I ask Josh, I say, hey, James, I want you to meet Josh. Josh just took a look at what we're doing, and he said he wanted some more information, and I know Josh through real estate. That's it. And he's working on this non-for-profit, and he works for Amplify, and he works with this friend of mine. But, great guy, very well connected. Said at least he'd help us out and refer, but, may have some interest. James is then able to say, and this is just my process that I teach, is 3 questions. This is how I teach three-way calls. There's 3 questions. The first question is, and this may be the most important thing you guys know today, is what to do on a 3-way call if you're the expert. There's 3 questions. Number 1, how do you know, Jeff? What this does is this judges influence. This is how I judge influence. Does this person have influence with this person? How do you know Josh? Well, we've known each other for years and blah, 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 blah. So we're talking about the 3 questions you ask as the expert on the 3-way call. How do you know this person? Number 2, what do you do for work? What do you do? What do you do for work outside of all this? I'm just trying to get to know people. How do you know the person is the first question. What do you do for work is the second question. The third question is what did you like best and what have you seen so far? What did you like best and what have you seen so far? What that tells me is, what have they heard so far that they like, or do they know what's going on? Because sometimes I put on a 3-way call and the person doesn't know anything at all. And all of a sudden you're like, man, don't you want to come to the event? And they're like, I really don't even know what you're doing. And you kind of sound like an idiot. I've done that before. I kind of sound like an idiot and I don't know where I'm going with this. And the person hasn't seen anything. And then they'll finally be honest. They'll be like, well, honestly, they sent me the video. I told them I watched it. I really didn't watch it. That kind of thing. That's why I love, teaching actually an actual presentation rather than a video up front, because then I can have that conversation with people. Those 3 questions. Number 1, how do you know the person? What do you do for work? And number 3, which I think maybe, what did you like best and what have you seen so far? That allows me to gauge who this person is, where they're at, what level, and where to go from there. What I typically will do from that point is like, oh, great. Let's say they're like, I really like the product. I said, yeah, absolutely. I said, isn't the story of the company pretty cool, like how I got started? And they're like, oh, yeah. If they're like, yeah, I don't remember that part, or, I don't know. I'll repeat it. I say, well, the story of the company, here's what, and then I'll say, and then we have, and I'll literally do the exact same presentation that I taught my team to do. The reason being is it creates congruency, and it looks like you all are on the same page, and it creates a cohesiveness inside the team. Inside the team. Dave's already got 7 presentations set up this week, so
Woo!
I mean, this is obviously working. And he's risen in 30 days, jumping levels in our company like back to back. Not only is he jumping levels back to back in 30 days, but he's making money. That's one of the other key things, and we'll talk about money later. Kanisha's here. Hello, and I've got like 3 or 4 people to follow up with her. So again, we've got the 5 things that we're covering. At the end, it's information. Do you want more information? And then I connect them third party and send them a video. Now, the reason I send them a video and connect them third party is I found people who are super, super interested, but don't want to tell you that they're super, super interested, will go click on that video right away. They'll go click on that video right away, and they'll watch it. And I've actually had people, while I was trying to get them set up for the third-party call, and while I was talking to the expert that I was going to connect them to, I've had people write me right back while I was waiting. You know, I always do a three-way text. I don't do three-way calls. For those of you who don't know, I think three-way calls suck. And, you know, that might be news to a lot of people in the industry, but I think three-way calls, they're fucking horrible. And let me tell you exactly why they're horrible. They're horrible because they're so intrusive, they take up so much time, and there's no good process. Because if I'm just going to use me, if I'm the expert and I'm in a massage because I run a holistic health practice and I'm in an appointment with somebody and I have 3 people calling me for a three-way call, back to back to back, then I'm in the massage and they can't get a hold of me, and now this person's on the other end of the phone like, oh yeah, he's kind of busy, just hold on, blah, 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 blah. Let me give you a scenario where this works out so much better. Is if it's a text message, and I get a text message and I'm in an appointment, I see the phone buzz, and at the end of the appointment I write right back, hey, I was in an appointment, I've got time in about 10 minutes, will that work for you guys? Yes. Great. And then I'm able to call back. Let's say we're out to dinner. This is my fiance, Brandy. And let's say we're out to dinner. Rather than the phone ringing in the middle of dinner while we're eating and going, hey man, I got this guy right now. He's really excited. I just told him about the company and this, that, and the other thing. Can you talk to him right now? I know you're at the Cheesecake. I know the food just came out, but can I talk to you at Cheesecake? I'm at a birthday party. I'm at a bar mitzvah. I'm at a dinner. I mean, I've gotten three-way calls in every scenario you can possibly imagine. I think they suck. I think the process is broken. But I understand the point of what we're trying to do, and a third-party text makes so much more sense. Because in the real world of business, you would never use a three-way call. Never. You'd never use it in real estate. You'd never use it in the mortgage business. You'd never use it, ever. I've thought of every scenario. Can you imagine the doctor been like, I really need to call an expert here because what you have is this. Hold on one second. Let me do a three-way call. Okay, what's going on with your ovaries is, and then, they hand the phone. Like, that would never happen, ever. Can you imagine at the bank? Well, unfortunately, your account's upside down, and what you really need. Hold on, let me get the bank president on a three-way call. It would never. It looks fucking weird.
And you wouldn't do it in your personal life either. Not one time have I had a friend be like, hey, let's get on the phone with so-and-so so we can plan our weekend. It's always on a group text.
So I use a third-party text and say, for instance, if I was linking Francisco together, I'd be like, hey, Francisco, I really wanted to introduce you to Brandy. Brandy's actually part of our team, part of the people who help us out, and then boom, it connects. Now, here's what's interesting. In doing this, I'm able to handle 10, 15, 20 times more business because I can line it up and set it up, and I have a notebook to track it as the calls come in. Yesterday, I got at least three from Kanisha. I got one from Andrew. I got one from... Who the heck else sent me somebody? I have to look back on my phone. But I've got that, written out in order, and I was able to schedule all those out. And, I woke up this morning and it's like, hey man, yesterday I was busy, no problem. Hey, here's what we did. And now as the expert, I have track of all these people that we can get back to and talk to. I've gotten back to people a week, a month later. In some cases, hey, just checking back in, your friend was trying to connect us and, wanted some information on what we do. I didn't know if we ever got, we know it looks like we never got connected because you were, moving, or you just started a new job, or you just had a kid, or, you just, your car broke down, or whatever the situation is. And now all of a sudden we're able to have the rest of the conversation and we're able to recruit them. And the person that wasn't as interested, now all of a sudden we're able to put in. This is an amazing, and it's trackable. It's trackable because now we have it on our phone. I know when the last time I talked to them. I know when the last time we were connected because it timestamps everything. as opposed to a third-party call that I missed the next day, I don't remember. It's some number I don't understand or don't know, and then the person doesn't leave a message, so I have no idea who called anyway. And the person who tried to get me on the phone is pissed off because they're like, man, these people call things are stupid. Nobody's ever available. Every time I go to call somebody, it's not important. Do you see the difference? Tracy's with us. Hello. So, 2, initiative. They push themselves to act. So this is something that, like, you're not going to have a great day every day. My friend told me this a long time ago, that there's basically 3 things. Well, we have like 2 minutes. Yep. There's 3 things. Know, like, and trust. You guys have heard that, right? Well, there's also, you have to think right, to act right, to feel right. You have to think right, to act right, to feel right. This was something that a friend of mine just drilled into his kids all the time. You have to think right, to act right, to feel right. Most people feel first, they act second, and think last. And he made a really good point of this. He goes, what most people do is they'll feel first, oh, I don't feel like doing anything. Then they'll act upon that and watch TV, and later they feel like crap because they sat on the couch and they're like, damn it, I was supposed to build my business and I sat here and I didn't do it. But if you think right first, hey, what is the activity that's really going to move me forward? If I have it written down, the goals that I've written down, I really need to do it. Then you act. Here's what I've always found, and this is, written in many books. If you think right first and you act right second, you'll always end up feeling better. You'll always end up feeling better. It's kind of like the psychology key to getting out of depression. Get moving. Get moving. So we're going to run through the rest of these. They take more risks. They make more mistakes. People who take initiatives do make mistakes, but they correct them faster too. Here's the thing, if you move fast enough, most of the crap in your life will fix itself. It says to improve your initiative, do the following. Change your mindset. Obviously, personal development, right, Jose? Change your mindset. That's one of the best things. Don't wait for opportunity to knock. Here's the thing. The people who are going to get in your business are not going to come knock on your door in most cases. The people who are going to get in your business are not going to come knock on your door. And then they take the next step. People who have initiative take the next step. They're like, okay, what do I need to do next to get there? I'm at a certain point. Watch this. They'll reach out and make a phone call and say, hey, look, I really need to sit down with you. I want to do this. I know I need to do this. I've looked at doing it 100 times, and I need to get moving. I need help. So they're going to reach out. That's what initiative's all about. So that's our lesson for today, guys. I hope you got something out of it. Tomorrow, we're going to go over number 11, which is listening. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth. That should be a clue. So we're going to jump over to the MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you got something out of this. Appreciate it. Need to replay this.
Also, if you're watching the replay, please type in replay and type in where you guys are blogging in from.
So that way we can tell. Guys, have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much for watching.